Hey, I'm Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, and you're watching GameSpot live. You know, within the confines of my companies, we deal with outside licenses, with music and movies and films, and I've helped direct a couple of music videos. So anything pop culture, basically, we've been involved in, or I have specifically. It's sort of interesting. You usually have like people sort of buzzing back and forth between companies, trying to, you know, take meetings with each other. So the exact origin of who approached who, I don't know where that came from. I know that we got to the point where we were talking about whether we wanted to do a dedicated game to Spawn. And then within the confines of that, I knew they were doing Soul Calibur, and the conversation came up about us maybe doing the toys. And then as we were doing the toys, and the conversation went, well, how about creating a character? And then while we were creating the characters, like, well, since we're doing Spawn, why don't we think about putting Spawn back in the Soul Calibur? So where we're at right now, I don't think anybody thought of at the very beginning. It was just, you know, let's go see if we can sell a Spawn video game. But now, you know, as we sort of commingle a little bit with some of the ideas that we've done with Namco and the Soul Calibur, it allows us to potentially reach a new audience with the character, because there'll be, you know, tons of people buying that video game that may just see Spawn as a cool character from that video game, and eventually, once he spins off to his own game, they'll go, hey, that's that guy from Soul Calibur. And so you reach potentially a new customer, where there's others that go, no, I know what Spawn is, I don't need an education. So anytime you can try and broaden, you know, the number of people that are aware of your product, it's actually good. I think video games are really no different to me than like any other medium. You know, and so, I mean, obviously they're a tremendous leap away from comic books, because comic books are single panels of unmoving images. You know, so you stage a guy flying, but you never actually get to see him flying. Or he's picking up a building or whatever, a locomotive, and you never actually get to see it. We're now in animation and TV and films and video games. I mean, those guys are in constant flux. And they're going, and now you have to sort of say, well, let's say, for instance, in Spawn's case, well, how does his cape move when he's moving? Because in the comic book, you can do this crazy drawing, and you don't have to figure out all the stuff in between. I make the same sort of judgment call of video games as any other one. It's a medium that's only as good as the people that are actually working on it. So in Hollywood, there may be 1,000 directors, but I think that maybe only 40 of them actually put the entire package together. You know, you can walk around and look at the video games, and I think that you can sort of see who the A-list developers are and the teams are, because you go, wow, you want, and then 2 steps later you see another game that seems a little repetitive, that you go, you know, other than its different content, I've seen that before. There's nothing really sort of new or striking. And so for me, you know, the guys that are trying to use the technology and going, well, how do we push it to the next level, and how do we keep pushing? Those are going to be the games and the people and the companies that are going to actually get the most success, because just like anything else, we want to always stimulate ourselves with new ideas.